How good was Kevin Durant actually with Golden State? When Kevin Durant joined the Warriors in 2016, pretty much everyone outside of the Bay Area scoffed. You're joining the Warriors? Remember, KD, Westbrook, Ibaka, and the Thunder almost beat the Warriors in the 2016 Western Conference Finals. A Warrior team that, by the way, won an NBA record 73 games. This was supposed to be the Thunder's decade. They were supposed to be the homegrown, young team led by a generational talent, a top 15 all-time player. They were supposed to be the dynasty. Instead, the Warriors were, and KD left to create the most unstoppable team of all time. Were the Golden State years his best years? And more importantly, how are we going to remember Kevin Durant's Warrior legacy? We'll break down the facts, and you can tell us what you think.
I could speak all night about Russell. An emotional guy who will run through a wall for me. And I don't take it for granted. It's days where I want to just tackle you and tell you to snap out of it sometimes, but I know it's days you want to do the same thing with me. I love you, man. I love you. A lot of people put unfair criticism on you as a player, and I'm the first to have your back, man, through it all. Just stay the person you are, man. Everybody loves you here. I love you.
KD and Russell Westbrook. Westbrook and Durant basically grew up together, entering adulthood as faces of a city's first franchise. They fit together so well in theory. Westbrook was a comet who could put up 20 points in a quarter and wear out a defense. KD was unstoppable, dropping 30 points before you'd even notice. So their breakup became the most infamous drama of the decade. They blew a 3-1 lead in the conference finals to arguably the greatest team of all time. After that, the Warriors team blew a 3-1 lead of their own in the 2016 finals to KD's big brother throughout the early 2010s, LeBron James. A few years later, KD explained on All the Smoke with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson that he left because he was the only guy who could make a jumper consistently.
I was tired of playing in that system. I was tired of having to be the only guy that can make threes, make jump shots, and consistently make them.
And to be fair, that's pretty accurate. The Thunder were loaded with athleticism and talent, but he was the only consistent offensive threat. Sure, Russ was a constant threat to go for 40 points, but he could also just as easily shoot under 30% in a big game. In fact, he had more games under 30% shooting than games over 40 points in that 2016 season. After the Golden State run ended, KD was a little bit kinder, but it was still clear that their relationship had soured pretty badly.
But playing with Russell Westbrook, a lot of people say that I should put him in his place. He's a player that you can't put in his place. He's a big personality. He's a player that you can't tame. So I was just gonna support him no matter what. I think that's what a lot of people try to say, is that I wasn't assertive in putting Russell in his place, but my whole thing was to let these guys grow and be creative in their own space.
It looked bad joining the Warriors, but if you look at the facts, there just weren't a lot of better options. The cap spiked in 2016, 32% to be exact. Not a lot of people knew this was coming. John Wall famously complained that he was making the same as Reggie Jackson. Lucky for the Warriors, they had 3 superstars who were not costing them a lot of money, either on rookie contracts or contracts signed before their careers took off. For example, Steph was making $12 million in 2016. So it was the perfect fit for Kevin Durant. But somehow the narrative went in favor of Russell Westbrook. Sure, the Warriors were at minus Vegas odds to win the title, but they were the evil empire, while Westbrook was the unsung hero. He opened the season at 2-1 odds to bring home the MVP.
The winner of the 2017 Kia NBA Most Valuable Player Award is Russell Westbrook.
Steph was next at 4-1 to three-peat, and then LeBron at 5-1, and then KD at 12-1. But fans love their underdogs, and Vegas reflects that. Westbrook then became the first guy since 1962 to average a triple-double, something we were positive would never happen again. Westbrook won MVP, breaking the triple-double record in a 50-point game that also featured one of the all-time game winners. But then the playoffs came, and he got bounced in 5. For KD, it was smooth sailing all year. He only played 62 games, just the second time in his career he missed more than 10 games. His scoring dropped, but come on, he's playing with Steph Curry. He made up for it by being the most efficient he's ever played on the court. Steph is like a magnet, especially in that era. He sucks away 2-3 defenders at a time, leaving the mid-range open to ISO stars like KD, or easy looks to the rim open when you have Draymond to distribute. Durant took a career-low 16.5 shots per game, but he shot a career-high 54% from the floor. He was asked to do less offensively, partly because Steph and Klay take up shots, partly because it's just easier when you're in a system like the Dubs had. Because of that, he started to dominate defensively in a way we'd never seen before. He posted career highs in blocks in back-to-back years to start his Warriors career, including a 2018 season where he finished 9th in Defensive Player of the Year voting. It wasn't all peaches and cream. KD didn't always trust his teammates, but can you blame him? Going from Westbrook to Curry is like getting over a bad ex. A lot of trauma to get over there. But Kerr was adamant that KD should trust his teammates.
I want you to trust your teammates early. What you're doing is you're getting to the rim, and then you're trying to hit them. I want you to trust the first guy, and then move. Still attack, still look to score, but trust these guys, okay?
That entire 2017 season, there was no doubt that the Warriors would end the season as champions. They almost pulled off an undefeated playoff campaign, starting an unheard of 15-0. Of course, LeBron and the Cavs just had to ruin it for them, coming out with a win in Game 4 of the Finals. So KD had to settle for 16-1.
Durant tries again. Bang!
This was more than KD just getting his first title. It was him beating LeBron James. He was second place in MVP voting to LeBron 3 times, and then lost to him in the finals in 2012. Finally, KD was number 1, resoundingly. He dropped 35, 8, and 5 on an insane 56, 47, 93 shooting line. Look, Steph obviously made it way easier for KD to get unleashed. It was like he was playing with a safety net. But Steph benefited just as much from KD's presence as KD benefited from Steph. Outside of KD, the only player that Steph's really played with who could create his own shot was Monte Ellis. Playing with KD took so much pressure off Steph, letting him more often serve as a traditional point guard, which, in turn, let Draymond focus on defense. Dre's only Defensive Player of the Year award came in 2017 when KD was on the team. People are going to argue that it's unfair, that any player would have succeeded in that system. After all, Harrison Barnes thrived the 2 previous years, and they were a Draymond kick away from winning that 2016 finals. Maybe the Warriors are favorites in 2017 and 2018, no matter what. But with KD, they were unbeatable. How is that a criticism on Kevin Durant? Charles Barkley might be right. KD might be a bus rider, but he's also the most gifted scorer we've ever seen at that size. Out of the top 20 players, he's probably the only one who can fit into literally any system. And more importantly, he just loves to hoop. The 2018 playoffs were a little more interesting, with the Western Finals going to 7 games against the Houston Rockets.
Seconds to go, and the Golden State Warriors are on their way to a 4th consecutive NBA final.
In the finals rematch against the Kyrie-less Cavs, KD casually dropped a 29, 11, and 8 on 50, 40, 90. 2 years, 2 finals MVPs.
Back to back.
So where did it go wrong?
Just to be clear, because I don't recall the answer to this question. Did that play a role in you leaving Golden State?
A little bit, yeah, for sure.
You want to expand on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, if your teammate talked to you that way, you think about it a bit. But we talked. Like I said, we talked about it. But definitely, for sure, I'm not gonna lie about it.
He and Dre seem like they've at least partly made up, though they had a run-in this year while KD was on the Suns. But when you see something like this, you know the writing's on the wall. You can only have so many egos on one team, and with great players come great egos. Steph's disposition lets Draymond's comments wash right off him, but it's pretty clear that KD just doesn't have that makeup. They had a chance for a three-peat, but injuries took them down. KD and Clay, and a washed-up DeMarcus Cousins for that matter, all had career-altering injuries in those finals. Clay missed 2.5 years after a setback. KD missed the entire next year to start his Brooklyn career. It's hard when you play that long in the postseason, year after year, and still stay healthy. It's only a matter of time, unless you're LeBron James. Kawhi took home his second finals, this time with the Raptors, ending the Warriors' hope for a three-peat. KD split, building a new team with Kyrie in Brooklyn. He admitted that the Draymond altercation definitely had something to do with him leaving. More than anything, it was probably about getting out of Steph's shadow. No matter what, Steph would be the guy, the face of the billboards and the jerseys all the kids wear. But Kevin Durant had one of the most dominant stretches in NBA history for a 3-year stretch. Stephen A. said in 2019 that KD was the best player in the game. Not Giannis, not LeBron, not Kawhi.
Durant is Kevin Durant. There is no human being that steps on the basketball court that neutralizes, nullifies, and flat out stops Kevin Durant.
So KD's legacy may have taken a hit when he joined forces with a player who might have been better than him on a team that was already unstoppable. Some say it was a cheap way to get a title, and some say it barely even counts. When Steph got a 4th ring in 2022, his first without KD, it could not have felt great for the Slim Reaper. But you can make an argument that those first 2 Golden State years were the best of his career, even better than his 2014 MVP season. Do you think his Warriors years were the best? Do you think he hurt his legacy by joining the Warriors, or did he improve it? Let us know in the comments, then watch one of these videos next. Listen to The Wrong Opinion, useless NBA trivia, and garbage rankings for more NBA content.